It is Antonio Diaz, and I'm campaigning for mayor of San Antonio, Texas. It's been, to say the least, a very arduous, very hard campaign trail because we keep getting shut out from this debates that the media covers, and they keep saying for the same three candidates that they're the top three or top tier. I don't know how but they've already done some polling, I imagine. I don't know of what neighborhoods, but somehow they've decided those are the top three. I think they decided due to the money, because Mr. Medina has money, and Nirenberg is already an incumbent city councilman, and Ivy Taylor, of course, is incumbent mayor. And I think that's how they've reached this decision. Many of these organizations, right, and they're reputable organizations. I'm not going to say that they're not, they are. But what they're doing is disreputable. What they're doing is underhanded, and what they're doing is a disservice to San Antonio, to the voters, to the voting public of San Antonio, because they choose these three, or two sometimes, because Ms. Taylor, I think, is kind of shy now of Mr. Medina's pit bull or bulldog-like attacks, right, that he's attacking her tenure as mayor, and so I don't think she wants to take that on anymore, and you're seeing her less and less, even at these main function forums. But they keep inviting. Now it's just two. You see either Nirenberg and Medina, or sometimes just one of them. And I think that's a disservice, because the voting public of San Antonio, there's great apathy. I mean, when you get anywhere between 8 to 12% of the registered voters turning out for local elections, it's a shame, right? It's a shame. It's a great shame. There should be greater involvement, and there should be greater push to educate the public as to all the candidates. And hopefully then it would create an impetus, right? A push for these candidates that just have their name on the ballot to actually try to run. I'm not giving all of them credit. They are at fault by not running, by not campaigning, not asking for contributions to be able to run an actual campaign, like I have been doing. If you go around town, I don't have many signs or those 4x8s that are very costly, like Medina and now Nirenberg. I think he got them during this month. Even Ms. Taylor. I don't have that kind of money, and I don't have those kind of contributors. But if there's one out there listening right now, I'm still running. You can still contribute to my campaign. I am asking for contributions, and I am taking them and using them to purchase more signs, to purchase more flyers, and to try to keep on going. It's only a few weeks away now, and hopefully I can still win this thing. You will see my signs around town, and not just on one side of town, but throughout. South, northwest, northeast, central, and I have a second batch of signs coming in. I'll be using those mainly to dress up voting sites. So I am a real candidate, credible candidate. I've attended some of these debates and forums, and now mainly against Nirenberg. I have gone against Mr. Medina as well, only not against Ms. Taylor, and because I'm challenging them. I'm challenging Mr. Medina on his credibility himself as a candidate. That how can he be saying he's the voice for the working poor when he's a millionaire, right? And all his history is also non-credible. It's been challenged already by Express News and almost anyone that wants to look into it. Mine can be also looked into, and you can question me for my run-ins with the law when I was younger. But we have Nicola Hood, who is now serving as our DA, who had run-ins with the law when he was younger. We have Nelson Wolf's son, who had, since he was a kid, running, and he's still a commissioner. So I say these things need to be overlooked at some point, unless you continually do it throughout your life. So I'm running as a candidate. I'm a viable candidate. And as a human rights activist that I've been, and a civil rights activist, I have promoted the vote. I don't know, maybe not as much as Willie Velasquez, but up there in those realms, because I've gone into Bexar County Jail and had voter registration drives in there. I've registered people to vote that were going to visit people detained there at the jail. I've block walked. I've gone into neighborhoods, east side, west side, south side, and registered people to vote, especially people that have finished their parole and probation that think they have no right to vote. I explain to them their voting rights. So I've done these things throughout the past 20-some years. And as far as immigration, Mr. Medina keeps saying that he's the only candidate. I've been jailed for defending people, Mexican people that are over here asking for asylum and so forth, that have gotten injured, be taken to hospitals. I've done vigils. I've been jailed for protesting on anti-immigration legislation. Okay? And in there I saw how ICE practices and still goes inside the jail. And I've talked to Eric Walsh about this. I've tried to talk to the San Antonio City Attorney's Office about this. Now, these are things I doubt if Medina has ever even done any of this. And Mr. Nirenberg, well, he's been a part of it. He got angry with me at the last debate we did at Esperanza, which was just 2 days ago. He actually attended that one, where I told him, you're a part of the problem. And in between our handshake, his face turned into stone, saying, how do you mean that? And I said, look at your voting record. And by his voting record, he voted for Mr. Ridge, right? And not only that, but he also voted for the Mission Trails. Remember the people that were fighting to keep their homes on Mission Road, at the Mission Trails mobile homes? He voted to remove them. So when he's sitting there talking about how he's anti-gentrification, how he's for people to keep their homes, I tell Mr. Nirenberg, that's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. You voted. Let's look at your voting record. Just like we look at Mrs. Ivy Taylor's voting record. Ivy Taylor has done nothing but sell San Antonio to all the contractors, all the developers. If you got big money, she can make a deal with you. Tell you that right. Mr. Medina thinks he can make a deal. Ivy Taylor can make one faster. Okay? And it's about time to end this already. You need to vote for Antonio Diaz. That's me. Coming up May 6th, or start voting already. You know, if you're a senior, you can vote by mail. And that's already ongoing right now, which is why I'm hopefully some of you will see my program, which is why I tried to attend that ARP meeting, because the seniors can already vote by mail. They don't have to wait until April 24th. And I'm hoping to capture some of that vote. I have a story from a minister, a Christian minister. So those are the people that say that you don't get along with other religious types or whatever. I do, but with good people, not with this homophobic ministers that want to force their rulings on top of ours. For me, it's equality for all people. This is the story. I talked to this Christian minister who says he was also a subcontractor for the city, where he mows lawns and does trimmings and all that. What the city does to seniors that can't pay, they go in there and they cut and they mow their lawn and trim their, do all these things as far as lawn care. Because first they give them a warning on code compliance, then they give them a fine. They can't pay the fine. They mow their lawns for them. You know, they put that fine onto their CPS bill. Okay? They're already having problems. They can't even pay for a yard person to come and do their lawn service, and they attach it to their utility bill, to their CPS bill. So it becomes greater. So if they can't pay that, they go without utilities, right? Then they get moved out of their home. I will put a stop to this. I will put a stop to this. Seniors that cannot pay for lawn care because of code compliance violations, the city will do it for free, pro bono. That will be a part of my program as mayor. We can do it. We can do it. We can have, if we can set a budget of $20 million aside to claim eminent domain and take people's homes and destroy them, just so that the city or the county can claim them, we can for sure. And this is in this $850 bond issue. It should not be put all together. Whenever you put an all or nothing bond like this, it's because you want to put in so much pork that it's only going to benefit the developers and the rich. All this Chamber of Commerce. Well, I'm not invited to the Chamber of Commerce forums either. Why? Because it doesn't suit them that I be saying and questioning these things, how they basically are just abusing the system and ripping it off. As mayor, they would not be allowed to do this. As mayor, I'm for the people. If it doesn't benefit the people, it doesn't get done. Antonio Diaz for mayor, San Antonio 2017. Keep voting. Vote, vote, and vote.